Welcome back, everyone. Michael here with Offshore Citizen. Today I'm going to share with you the video that my wife did not want me to make, which is I'm going to depart from our normal kind of in-depth tax and where to form companies and where you should live and how to get residency permits and citizenships and all this kind of stuff. And I'm going to instead discuss how to save money. And this is, I think, specifically relevant for people like us who travel a lot, who have the flexibility to be in different parts of the world, etc. Is, hey, listen, if you can, live and travel and shop all over the world, why not shop in the places that you can get the best deals? Provided you're willing to wait until you're in that area, you can save a bunch of cash. So I'm going to go through for you today where to buy certain items to save the most, what time of year you're going to benefit from buying those things, when the kind of special sales are, and also what to do to potentially get a little bit extra money and how you can kind of hack the system a little bit. So we're going to dive right into that. Before we do that, though, if you have not already, please subscribe by clicking the subscribe button. Destroy that notification bell to make sure you don't miss out on any of our videos. We really appreciate subscribers. Wonderful. It's really helpful for us. And if you're interested at all in the subjects of international tax planning, how to pay the lowest legal amount of tax possible, where to go to get a second residency, second citizenship, how to get those, where might be the best place to form companies, help forming those companies, help opening bank accounts, etc., reach out to us. You can book a call with me, clarity.fm/Michael Ross. There's a link below, or you can visit our websites, offshorecitizen.net, offshorecapitalist.com. Okay, so as I said, my wife was like, no, don't record this. I don't want them to know my secrets. So I am not a shopper at all. This is normally probably a fairly masculine thing. But, and I'm definitely not a luxury shopper, but my wife is, and so I've learned all about this. Plus, I do care about saving money, so that's appealing to me. And so we're going to give kind of the gamut of the world tour, and I've certainly found for myself, as we know, hey, we want to buy this. So, for instance, I want to buy the new iPhone. It's like, okay, well, if we're going to be traveling, we know it's probably going to be cheaper in this place, so we can buy it from there. Hey, somebody else is traveling, they're going to be able to maybe come and see us, we can ask them to pick it up for us. Hey, listen, we're looking at something that, it can wait, it's not specific when we have to buy it. Okay, let's plan around that travel. So this is kind of a cool thing, right, to be able to do that. It's, kind of combining two things that are great, saving money and traveling. We like it. So anyway, first observation. The first observation is, generally speaking, things are cheapest in the country that the company is based in. So let's use a non-luxury example. Zara clothes are cheapest in Spain, okay? If you want to buy American brands, they're typically cheapest in the US. So if you want to buy most things American, you're typically going to want to buy them in US states that have no sales tax. That's generally your best case scenario for lowest prices there. Assuming these are all new things, by the way. Then we have European brands, right? So a lot of the luxury brands, if you're like, hey, I want to buy Louis Vuitton or Givenchy or, Gucci or whatever it is, those are European. You're probably going to want to buy them in Europe. Okay, I've definitely noticed we've price shopped them in UAE, we've price shopped them in various different places in Asia, we've price shopped them in Turkey, we've price shopped them in a bunch of different places. We find the cheapest is actually in Europe. And I'm going to give you hints of where in Europe, what time to get them, etc. It's going to be great. Likewise, I would imagine, we don't typically go for too many like specific Asian brand stuff, but say you get skincare, etc., you can get those there. One thing I find is if you're shopping for electronics, things like, you want to get a new iPhone or a Mac or something like that, very often we find the cheapest place is Singapore. You can shop around a little bit and do some research, but yeah, we find a few places in Asia we've had some good luck. We recently bought an iPhone in UAE, or my wife bought one. Definitely a better deal than buying it in Europe. So, all part of the consideration. But today I'm going to focus primarily on Europe and primarily on kind of the fashion type area, because I think that's one of the areas where you can save some of the most, okay? So, places that you would want to go. Number one of the first places that I went that I found, hey, there's great deals here, is Andorra. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, the thing about Andorra is they have very little VAT, okay? So this helps you. So they're already in Europe, then they have they have very low VAT, so you're way ahead of the game, right? The problem in Andorra is selection and finding that selection. So if you haven't been there, there's basically like these long streets that are basically just shopping streets. You can buy, perfumes very cheap there. You can buy, handbags, clothes, etc. great deals there, Rolex watches, etc. The challenge, of course, is just, do they have the one that you want? What I find is, if what you're after is kind of like mid-high end, then you're probably going to be good, right? So let's use an example. If you wanted to buy, and you're like kind of narrowed in your selection, then you can get great deals. If you want, like for instance, there's no Chanel stores or Hermes stores in Andorra, so you're kind of out of luck there, right? So this brings us to the next place. Where do we go? By far, one of the best places is Florence, Italy. Okay, so specifically Florence. We've gone to the areas in the north, the areas around Milan, areas around a bunch of different areas. The best area is Florence. And there is specifically this mall outside of Florence called the Mall, okay? And they have just really good selection. That's, I think, one of the key things. So it's, kind of this luxury outlet place. And so if you can purchase there, you can get fantastic deals. We have some friends and clients who we've gone with, and they like to raid. They basically have like a routine. They go twice a year. So the times when the best sales are is at the beginning of January, and I think it's the beginning of June. Okay, so those are the two cycles. If you can go there, it's like you can get the 50% off of the 50% off, right? Which is great. We like that. Not everything will be discounted to that extent, but yeah, you can definitely save a lot of money if you're going to buy a bunch. So if you're one of those people, hey, awesome, perfect for you. From there, the other place is Paris. You can to some extent. Now, there's an outlet shopping place outside of Paris. The selection is not very good. It's not wonderful. By the way, there's another one closer to Milan, farther north in Italy as well. It doesn't have as much selection. It's just not as good as the one in Florence. The one in Florence is like creme de la creme. It's great. But you can get these things in Paris, often, reasonably cheap. Those are like, okay, we're going to start with that. Okay, that's like, if you're shopping for these things, I would say Florence is number one. Maybe this area up north, there's, I'm trying to remember what the name of it is. But anyway, there's some other outlet which is up more near Milan. And Andorra is great, and then you kind of have this fallback to Paris for certain things that you just can't get in these other places. So for instance, now, here's the deal. The best way to get the best deal is to get tax-free. Okay, so if you're a foreigner to Europe, you can claim tax-free, and usually you can get like 14% back. Okay, which is kind of a rip-off because it's not the whole amount, but whatever. If you can do that, amazing. That's going to get you an extra 14% off. So basically what I've noticed is that for a bunch of these brands, your base price is already lower in Europe than the rest of the world, okay? Or within the EU. Then, if you get these super sales, like you can get in Florence, you save a bunch more. Then if you get the tax-free, you save a bunch more. So you can end up with some really smoking deals doing this. So it's great. I highly recommend it. Let me see, what else? Okay, so that gives you kind of like a basic thing. Now, here's the next piece that surprisingly might be useful to you, is Norway is exceptionally good at giving these tax-frees. So Norway is not in the EU, so that, they're like a little bit out, but they are kind of within some of the similar function, and they're just very efficient. So I've never been anywhere that is more efficient about giving you a tax refund than Norway. So if you have, if you happen to be there, etc., the prices should be the same, more or less, in Norway as they will be in, a bunch of these other European countries like Netherlands or something like that. If I have the option, I'd probably rather buy there just because of the ease of getting that money, and because I have to be leaving Norway, I don't necessarily have to be leaving the whole EU. So I have this, like, it's a much easier scenario in that respect. Last thing, sometimes you should watch for currency fluctuations. So we got some very good deals in Turkey. Turkey for certain things is already pretty inexpensive, not usually for like foreign brand names, but there's just a lot of stuff that's produced locally that you can get a great deal on. But then when you add to that, the lira is a pretty unstable currency. So when it's dumping, you can often save a bunch of cash. So, a similar thing could happen, a few years back, the Malaysian ringgit went way down. There's a bunch of different options. So pay attention to that as you're traveling, find some good deals. If you happen to find some amazing deals in general, let me know. Would love to hear from you guys, your international shopping secrets in the comments. And yeah, I hope this was helpful to you. So put a comment below with your favorite ones. Again, if you haven't already, click the subscribe button. I hope it was helpful for you, and I'm going to see you guys on the next video.